Hello and welcome to In the Kitchen with Matt. I am your host, Matt Taylor. Today I'm going to show you how to make saltine cracker candy, saltine cracker toffee, also known as like Christmas crack. But it's not Christmas. That's okay. We're like 3 months late. Totally fine. It's never too late to make this amazing, super easy dessert. Make it all year round if you want to. I love chocolate and I love caramel, and so this is one of my favorite treats to make, and it's so easy to do. Very simple ingredients. If I can do it, you can do it. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my new videos. Let's get started. Down below in the description box, you'll find a list of the ingredients and their amounts. So here we go. To begin, we need some saltine crackers. And so I have a bunch of saltine crackers here, and I'm going to take them, and I have a 13 by 9 inch baking dish lined with parchment paper, and you could just use a sheet pan if you want. And I'm going to put these saltines in here, like so. Okay, like that. And then what you can do, if you want, is you can fill in the gaps with half pieces of cracker. Like that if you want. It's not totally necessary, but you can certainly do that. All right, so there we go. We got all the saltine crackers in there, and I can set this aside now. And now we want to melt the caramels. And I just have the Kraft brand caramels, and this is about 25 of them, or 1 cup. And you can get kind of pretty much whatever caramel that you want to do, or you can make homemade caramel. That's really common, just to do a homemade caramel. And I have a couple different videos on homemade caramel here. The caramel apple video, you can use that homemade caramel if you want for this. Or to be super easy, just buy the little caramels like this, and we're gonna use these. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take 1 tablespoon of whole milk, or you could use cream, and you can use other milk as well. And I'm going to put that in there with the caramel, and what's going to happen is the milk is going to help the caramel so it's softer when it hardens, so it doesn't harden as much as like they are right now, especially if you put it in the fridge. And so this helps it be a lot softer. And now I'm going to melt this in the microwave. You can do this on the stovetop as well if you like. Burst of 30 seconds, and then stir, 30 seconds, and then stir until it's completely melted and really hot. Onto that step. And then once the caramel is melted, we're going to just pour it over the crackers. And you may find that you want to do more caramel than what I did. Maybe you want to do 1.5 cups of caramel instead. Just depends on how thick you want the caramel to be. And you can thin out the caramel even more with a little bit more milk. You can go up to even 2 tablespoons of milk. And you want to work fairly quickly because the caramel does cool down fairly fast. And then you can come in here with a spatula, and we'll just spread this out a little bit. Something like that will work out just great. And then we take our milk chocolate chips, or semi-sweet chocolate chips, or dark chocolate chips, or white chocolate chips, and we're just going to sprinkle them on here. And I have 1.5 cups here, but you may use less chocolate than that. And you could also just melt the chocolate first if you want. Just because if the caramel cools too quickly, it's not going to heat up the chocolate enough to spread, and then we're going to wind up having to put this in the oven. So you may want to just melt the chocolate ahead of time, but if the caramel is warm enough, you can just let this sit for about 5 minutes, and then we can come back in and just spread the chocolate. If you watch my homemade almond roca video, which is pretty much a toffee, if you watch that video, you kind of see that technique of putting on the whole chocolate chips and then spreading it as they melt. So I'm gonna let this sit for about 5 minutes and then we'll come back and spread it. Again, if it doesn't spread very easily, we can just pop this in the oven on broil for about a couple minutes, a minute or so, and then it'll melt the chocolate that way. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. Let's see if I can get this to spread. I just have an offset spatula, and you can just come in here and spread that chocolate as long as it's melted. And most of it is spreading, but there are some chunks still of chocolate. But for the most part, it's working pretty well. These offset spatulas used for cakes are really handy. All right, see, so it did 99% of the chocolate. There's a few little chocolate chunks, which is totally fine. So once we have that done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some mixed nuts, and this is just mixed of peanuts and pecans, and I'm just going to put those on. Totally optional, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. The nuts are optional. And then I also have some slivered almonds that you can do if you wanted to. Just depends on what kind of nuts that you want. And also another thing you can do is just some coconut. Doesn't that look absolutely amazing? And then you can leave it like this, or take a piping bag with white chocolate or white candy melts. You've seen me do this before on chocolate decorated treats, most recently on the hot chocolate bombs. And this is totally optional as well. And we'll just drizzle this on. And that gives you a myriad or a variety of flavors to your saltine candy or saltine cracker candy or saltine cracker toffee or Christmas crack candy, whatever you want to call it. Super awesome. And now I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes just so all the chocolate sets completely, and then we'll dive into it. And when it comes out of the refrigerator, you can just lift up the parchment paper. That's what's so nice about using the parchment paper. You can just lift it up out of the pan and it doesn't stick at all to it. And then we can cut into this. Look how awesome that looks. And you can just kind of cut it the size of the cracker if you want. But you don't have to follow the cracker. You'll wind up getting about 24 of them, depending on the size that you cut them. And there you go. That is what they look like on the side. Pretty cool. And that is how you make saltine cracker candy or saltine cracker toffee or Christmas crack, as they call it sometimes. Really easy to do, simple ingredients. The whole thing takes about 10 to 15 minutes to prepare, and then you just let it chill for about 30 minutes. Awesome. I'm Matt Taylor. This has been another episode of In the Kitchen with Matt. Thank you for joining me. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or requests, put them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thumbs up, down the corner, push it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos. Take care. Time for me to dive into this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.